Right now, there are 3 areas in the Atlantic Basin the National Hurricane Center is watching for potential development. The first is out here near the Azores. It has a 10% chance of development over the next 48 hours and a 20% chance over the next 7 days. If and when this area does actually develop, it will most likely be a slow process. Next, we have this area just north of Puerto Rico, Cuba, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. This area has a 10% chance of development both over the next 48 hours and 7 days. And finally, this is the area you've probably been hearing the most about. It has a 10% chance of developing over the next 48 hours and a 60% chance of developing over the next 7 days. You'll also notice that from the last time we made a video talking about this area, it has shifted to the north and west. So while the different hurricane models are still not all in agreement as to whether or not this area will develop, let's take a look and see what some of them are showing. First, if we look at the Canadian model and run it all the way forward to November 8th, it's showing a system forming out of both of those areas of concern, with the stronger of the two being in this area here, moving northwest into the Gulf of Mexico. Next, looking at the Euro, going out to November 4th, it already has a low-end tropical storm or a high-end tropical depression forming just south of Jamaica. And this one is the GFS model, which is showing the same kind of thing as the Canadian, but weaker systems in both places. The Canadian is showing a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico and a tropical storm or tropical depression just north of Hispaniola, whereas the GFS is not showing something as strong in the Gulf as the Canadian. But one thing to keep in mind is that if something does enter the Gulf, the water is not near as warm as it was a few months back, especially on the eastern side of the Gulf of Mexico where the water temperatures have cooled dramatically. But I'll continue to provide updates with each of these areas as we see them progress forward, and I hope y'all had a great Halloween.